I Want to Jump Like Dee Dee, with me, Giles Sibbald, is the music podcast that does music a bit differently. I'm talking to some incredible musicians, DJs and producers about how they use an experimental mindset to fuel their own creativity, pursue new challenges, overcome fears, bounce back from mistakes. Looking back at a musician's back catalogue for me it's endlessly fascinating. I like seeing the evolution in style, tempo, lyrics, and also the impact of remixes. It makes me think about what was going on in the musician's life to influence them to make that music, and how those influences sort of ebb and flow as our own life does the same as well. My guest today is someone who's been developing a musical vision through a diverse range of projects, always with music, often in different guises, music as its common bond. And now, reinvented in more ways than one as Nines, Manu Garcia is fusing his classical music background with love of electronica and connecting this to other areas of arts and culture, which really excites me. He's also founded Orfeo Music Online, which is a vision to provide artists with support to manage their career from production to mentoring and lots of other things in between. And at the time of recording this podcast, he's just about to release his latest album, Hope Yard. And the album is really wonderful. It's to me, it sort of feels like a kind of storybook of awakening, introspection, healing, optimism, and ultimately being as one with the world. And you might have already seen the very powerful single that's already been released called Kokoba. I hope I pronounced that right. Which features the really astonishing vocals of the writer, singer, and poet Toshi Takolo. So, Manu, welcome, and thank you so much for coming on. I'm really excited to talk to you.
Thank you for calling, man. I'm really excited to speak with you. Yeah,
Absolutely, yeah. So this has been kind of quite a sort of journey now to that you've come through over the last sort of few years, I guess. To get to release on the verge of releasing this fantastic album.
yeah. It's been a journey for me, and you were right. It's a mental journey. This album.
Mm,
I mean, this album is coming more. Most of the album is coming from pain. So
mm,
so yeah, you were right. I mean, I have been like I was traveling a lot as a DJ. It's like for the
yeah.
last 12 years. And the last 2 years of my career as a DJ, as Uner, I was feeling like the emptiness, tiredness. It was boring sometimes.
Mm,
And I was feeling that kind of like, I feel like I'm feeling like I don't want to do it anymore. I
right.
don't want to do
Wow.
this anymore. I want to get back to my backgrounds. I want to get back to playing the piano. And of course,
Mm,
I have the idea of the Nines project. I didn't have the name, but
yeah.
I started to think about this project back in 2014.
Mm,
So for me, it was really difficult because I had this idea in my mind and start working on tracks, on compositions, different compositions, but I didn't have the time
right. Okay.
to close
Yeah. Yeah.
myself at the studio for
Yeah.
proper 6 months or 7 months or even a year just to develop the ideas and playing the piano, get some parts, working with musicians, singers.
Mm,
I didn't have the time because I was always touring, always traveling. I was
yeah.
playing like at least like 2 or 3 gigs per week.
Wow.
So yeah, so it was very difficult to get myself at the studio even 1 week in a row.
Yeah.
So, 2015, um, my father passed away, and for me was like a calling. Like,
Mm,
hey, look at this, man. In a
yeah.
second, you are done.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I start to feel this emptiness,
Mm,
like what I'm doing here. I want to do something different. I want to express myself in a different way. I don't want to play this game anymore about um, going to play in a club and just
mm,
taking care of taking pictures and videos and social media and Instagram and this thing. Like, I'm here because I love music. I love to make music, and I
yeah.
want to focus my life and my career on making music. That's it.
Mm, mm,
So in 2018, I decided, I speak with my team, the team I had as Uner. Like, hey
Yeah.
guys, I'm gonna take one weekend off every month. I want to be with my girlfriend. She's my
Mm.
wife now,
Yeah.
but at that moment was my girlfriend. I want to spend time with her, with my mother, with my friends. I want to enjoy also a kind of real life,
Yeah.
going on a weekend for, I don't know, for the theater, or going to dinner with friends. I didn't have
Mm.
this opportunity the last 10 years,
Yeah.
and I was feeling more that kind of calling, like, hey,
Mm.
there is something cool and something different outside this, and you can still keep working on music.
Yeah.
So 2019, I say, hey guys, I can't do that anymore. I
Mm.
I found myself I found myself a couple of times at the airport waiting to boarding, and I was thinking like, oh man, I wish they could cancel the flight so I can
Yeah.
get back home. For me, it was like second time I had these thoughts was like, mm, that's not right,
Mm.
because I love to play music. I love music, but I don't want to go.
Yeah.
That's because that's not the place I have to be now.
Mm. Mm.
That's why I decided to move out from the DJ scene and focus on that project. That's nice.
That's fascinating. I mean, it's interesting. I mean, I in a previous sort of job that I had, going back maybe, I don't know, like 20 years.
Mhm.
I traveled a lot. So in that way, sort of similar to what you were doing, the sort of the constant sort of traveling. And it sounds great. And yeah, I would never knock it because I got to see some fantastic places. But ultimately, it that in itself wasn't fulfilling. And it's funny how you get to a sort of place where you might be doing the thing that you love, but the way that you're doing it isn't doing what you wanted to. And it sounds like that
Yeah,
perhaps is
exactly.
what sort of happened to you.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you a story. With my wife, we went to Rome. It was, yeah, 2019, I think. It was
Mm.
before COVID. Because after COVID, I have a mess with the time. It seems like
No, it's
yesterday
exactly,
was like
yes.
2 years ago. But sometimes it's like, wow, it was so long. Like, no, it was just 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
So
Yes.
so yeah, we at that point we went to Rome for 4 or 5 days, and I told her, like, do you know, I came to Rome like 5 times before, and I didn't see anything from these things around.
Mm.
Never ever before,
Mm.
because I was shocked. I was walking around Rome, like, going to the Colosseum, normal, it's like um, tourists,
Yeah,
going,
yeah.
making picture of the Trevi, everything. It was like, wow, that's mind blowing, man. It's like, everything's huge, everything is amazing,
It's
beautiful. You
amazing.
see a picture, but
Yeah,
then you go there, and it's like, wow, that's fantastic. And I was thinking, like,
yeah.
man, I came here 5 times before, and I didn't have time to see that.
Didn't see any of that. Yeah,
That's really sad.
yeah, it is. You're absolutely
That
right.
made me sad. Like, oh man, I've been traveling. I have Listen. I have an app on my phone that you can uh, tag all the places that you have been, and
Yeah,
then the app is giving you the percent of the places around the world that you've been here.
that you've been to. Yeah.
So yeah, so I've been in the 58%.
Mm.
That's a lot,
It's a lot. That is a
but
lot.
a lot of places was just that way. Going there from the airport to the hotel room,
Mm.
from the hotel room to the club, from the club to the hotel room, from the hotel room to the airport again, and
Yeah,
flying to another place.
yeah.
And there's been a lot of beautiful places around the world that I've
Mm.
been there, and I didn't see anything.
Yeah. I think I mean, I had this sort of similar thing when I started doing it. I would take time to see the place, and then things just you get carried. Well, your time just becomes compressed and limited, and I started to do
Ah,
exactly
yeah,
this. And in fact, actually, just the thought of going out to do some sightseeing was just like, oh, I can't be bothered. Like,
Yeah,
it's crazy because you're in like this fantastic place and I can't be bothered to do it, or I don't have
yeah.
time to do it. And it's, yeah. I
You
mean, it
are
sounds,
you are on the clock 24/7,
yeah,
like running,
totally sort
running,
of on the
running,
clock.
running. Yeah.
Yeah. So the sort of the idea that you had sort of back in 2014, that kind of grew inside you as something that you almost like this itch that you thought, okay, this is what I kind of need to do.
Yeah, it was growing like I had like a special show with a couple of friends of mine. One was a drum player, and the other was a guitarist, and we did a
Mm,
show playing more um, that kind of sound, like more laid back electronica. I was
yeah,
playing the piano, and
yeah,
for me, it was like, wow, that's the thing, you know. I'm coming from playing the piano when I was a kid, and I want to go again to this
mm,
to the different stage and sitting myself in front of the piano, the synthesizers, and play live,
yeah.
you know. And then that's why I started. I mean, I'm going to tell you, the first version of Cocoa
Mm,
is from back to 2017.
wow. Okay.
So I have been working on tracks,
You've been
that
working on
track,
that.
like for a
Yeah.
long time, like trying to find the right way and the right way of expression for me.
Yeah.
I did a lot of versions of the track. I have versions to release 3 different albums with 2 different versions of each track. You know?
Wow.
Because I was trying to find the right place to be for me in terms of music. Like,
Yeah.
okay, I like that, but I don't feel comfortable playing that. Let's do another one. I'm gonna do another one. I'm gonna try this one, and I'm gonna try this now. I'm gonna try to find that. And I had a team working with me, not on the technical production side, but pushing me like,
Mm,
you can do better. You can go more into your own soul. You can do better. You can try to find something better inside of you. So they were pushing me, to
mm.
the limits to try to get out all of the stuff I had inside. And
Right.
that's
Okay.
nice.
Wow. So
Yeah.
so you were classically trained and
Hmm.
started with music from a very early age.
Yeah.
I mean that must have again must have, well, obviously, music has been a sort of huge part of your life, but that training, because like I was classically trained from around about sort of 9 years old
Hmm.
in the cello, and then I kind of rebelled against it, as a kind of mid teens and things like that. But um, going back to sort of when you started and the sort of the influence that background and that kind of training had on you. What sort of influence did that play for you?
Well, I'm still had the first idea from the music school I had. This
Mm,
is like back in 1982.
mm.
So it was a long time ago. I was 5 years old.
5 years
I
old,
was
yeah.
5 years old.
Wow. Yeah.
So I started study piano on when I was 4, but then I get into the music school when I was 5.
Mm,
So my father, he was listening to music all the
mm,
time, and he was traveling too. So he was traveling outside Spain, and he was bringing me music,
mm.
vinyls, and cassettes with
Yeah.
different kinds of music. And I can remember it was back the same day, the same year, 1982. He came back home. He told me like, "Hey, listen to this." I was a kid, like I tell you, like 5 years old,
Yeah.
and it
Yeah.
was it was the Magnetic Fields album, Jean Michel Jarre,
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
1982 cassette with the picture of Jean Michel Jarre with the eyes in blue, with the
Yeah.
like the earth and everything. And I was listening to the cassette with my father. I was like, even I was 5, I was mind blowing. Like, wow,
Mm.
that sounds amazing, but that sounds weird to me
Yeah.
because it's
Yeah.
like it's the same kind of music I'm studying,
Mm,
but it sounds different.
mm,
So I started to go on a store in Lleida with my father that they have synthesizers
Mm.
just to understand what a synthesizer was.
Mm.
Wow, that's crazy. I was 5 years old. For
Yeah.
me, it was like, I can't even understand what is going on here, you know?
Yeah.
so yeah, so I had my first synthesizer. I think it was like I was like 6, 7 years old,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I spent hours and hours playing a melody, changing the sound, playing the same melody,
Wow. Okay.
changing the sound, and it was like, wow, that's crazy. So I can
Yeah.
play a violin, or I can play a flute, or I
Yeah.
can play a clarinet, I can play a piano. It was like,
This
that's
is incredible. Yeah.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I can picture now the first synthesizer in my parents' house, you know, over there at the
Yeah.
dining room, and it was like spending hours and hours like playing
Wow.
and
Yeah.
listening. Like, wow, that's crazy.
It's just incredible, isn't
That's
it?
why that's my way into the electronic music,
Yeah.
trying to understand, and then I start listening with my father. Um, of course, all the stuff from Jean-Michel Jarre,
Mm.
um, Mike Oldfield,
Mm.
um, Blue Order. I mean,
Mm.
Depeche Mode, everything.
Yeah.
Like, also I was listening like Status Quo or Queen or
Yeah.
Metallica or AC/DC, a lot of kind of stuff. But that part of the music for me was
Mm.
like, okay, that I mean, I really love um, rock and thrash and punk and all this stuff, but that kind of music is like, it's mind blowing, you know, because they are
Mm.
doing a lot of weird sounds. For me, it was
Yeah.
weird sounds. You know, it's not an electric guitar or a classical drum. It's
Mm.
something different.
Mm.
You know.
What do you think it was that attracted you to that to that something that was different? Because you know there's I'm really interested in that, because a lot of the time, you know, for you know, I guess everybody's different, but a lot of people kind of gravitate to stuff that is, you know, fairly routine, you know,
Yeah,
and they're kind of the same. So when somebody says I was really interested in something that's different, that kind of always gets me
yeah. For
interested.
me, I think the interest is coming because for me was like it wasn't normal or
Yeah.
natural.
Mm.
You know, I was at the at
Perhaps a bit of
the at the,
curiosity.
yeah, I was
Yeah.
at the music school at the conservatory, like listening like cellos and tubas and
Yeah.
horns and violins and pianos and people
Yeah.
singing. But what is that?
Mm. Yeah.
What is this guy? What is this guy playing with a round synthesizer and playing with lasers and an electronic drum set back in the 1988 with a
Yeah.
modular stuff? What is that?
What is that about?
What is
Yeah.
that? Concert in China, you know, like from Jean-Michel Jarre. Just listen, like,
Yeah.
what's that? That sound? It's coming. It sounds like it's coming from the outer space. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
that I think that's what that's what the point that get my attention when I was a kid. Like,
Mm.
wow, that's not natural, but it's attracting me. You know, it's like
Mm. And,
it was like a kind of like an abduction. You know, it's like, wow.
yeah. And as you sort of got older, you know, you sort of going into you know, you kind of into your teens, you know, you're sort of still training, and you know, what were
Mhm.
the sort of your, you know, kind of formative those you know, other sort of formative influences or events, or kind of like the people that you kind of gravitated towards, you know, as in terms of, you know, kind of friendships and things like that? What was the sort of scene that you were hanging out in?
Um, Around me, it was a really huge rap and hip hop scene, and a lot of bands. You know,
Mm.
like rock bands,
Rock
because
band. Mm.
yeah, because it was easier and cheaper
Yeah.
to get a guitar and a drum set,
Mm.
or trying to make music with a sampler,
Mm.
that getting into uh, computers and DAWs and synthesizers and all this kind of stuff, that it was
Mm.
so expensive. They're still
Yeah.
expensive, you know,
Yeah.
but that was so expensive back before. I mean, I can remember the first computer I had. Oh man, I think my parents were paying the computer for 7 years.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah.
And I had
Different level.
the Cubase
Yeah.
VST and the Cubase audio, and it was
Oh,
like, wow, that's amazing. Like 1 hour for a bounce, you know. And now you're waiting for 3 minutes, and you're never like, oh come on, man,
yeah. Come
that's
on.
so
This
slow.
is
So
unacceptable.
yeah, chop chop, you know. So yeah. So yeah, it was. I mean, it was easier. It was easier to get a guitar, two friends, bass, a drum set, and
Yeah.
play as a band.
Mm.
It was easier. I mean, of course, you need a space, you know, but it
Yeah.
was easier and cheaper than going to synthesizer, big mixer, drum machines,
Yeah.
and sequence. Because I can remember the first song that I was doing. The first track I was composing. Like, man, I was making the music with the internal sequencer from the synthesizers. I
Yeah.
had the first great thing I have. It was the Korg X3.
Mm.
That's like the internal synthesizer with the disc and everything. And I had to compose the music with a notebook,
Mm.
counting the bars,
Oh wow. Yeah.
because you didn't even you had a screen just with numbers.
Just
Like,
with
okay,
numbers. Yeah.
kick drum, recording 4 kick drums, and then you have to count. Like, okay, I have like 1, 2, 3, 4. I have to move and copy from 1 to 4 on the number 5. It's gonna go to the 8, and then I have to copy from 1 to 8 on the number 9. So
Yeah.
you were counting, because after you were getting the kick drum
Yeah.
line, you have to do the same with the bass line, and then you
Oh
have to
right.
do the same with the hi-hat, and then you have to do the
Yeah.
same with the pads, but
Yeah.
one by one. So if you messed up in one bar, you're done. So
Yeah.
now you can see everything. It's super easy.
It was interesting. It's interesting you say that. I remember reading. I think it's a book I'm reading at the moment about. It's a biography of A Tribe Called Quest, and the author, I forget his name, but he's saying about those sort of early days of hip hop with the way that sampling was done, the manual nature of it. You think now it's just like, oh my god, that is just kind of mind blowing.
It's
But
crazy.
in a way, you think,
Even cutting the
yeah, yeah.
the thing, and like,
But you think
it's crazy.
I'm kind of thinking, about from a mindset perspective that the I guess kind of one thing is sort of patience of doing it, but I suppose we didn't know better then because that was the technology then. But also the kind of the creativity and thinking, thinking creatively about, okay, how are we going to do this, and finding solutions. I think it's just incredible that
Yeah, it's
the emergence of that way of doing it was something else.
yeah. But I mean, the good thing now is, like, in terms of creativity, is everything is easier and faster, and of
Mm,
course the inspiration now is also easier to find it, because
mm,
now it's like, okay, I want to do this, I don't know how to do it. I'm going to YouTube.
yeah, yeah,
Someone is going to explain it. I mean, if not, I'm going to go through Google, and I'm pretty
absolutely.
sure I'm going to find a way to do it.
You're going to find a way to do it.
If
Yeah,
not, I have a lot of stuff
yeah,
that maybe
yeah,
plug this here or here or here, or get in the microphone, whatever. I can
yeah,
do it. I'm gonna.
yeah,
I wanna go to record a waterfall.
yeah,
Get the phone,
yeah.
record, go into the studio. That's it.
It's,
Back in the 80s,
yeah,
I wanna go to record a waterfall. It's like, okay, go.
it's
See you in
it's
a month.
it's interesting that I know this a young DJ in Nairobi, and she's used I think sort of Sonic Pi for sort of coding, but she's
Hmm.
also using this archive which is basically called Sounds of Nairobi, and it's exactly that, what you say about sort of people going out and taking audio of waterfalls, of nature, of the city streets, and putting it into this kind of like basically an open source archive that can be used by kind of artists. It's just incredible. I think it's just brilliant. I love it.
I'm using a lot of real sounds in my album that I've been recording with my phone and my Apogee One. You plug the Apogee One on the phone. You have the app from Apogee. The sound is incredible. You go out, you're recording with a stick on a tree, and then I'm using as a clap or steps on the leaves or the water or the wind or whatever sound, and you can use that, and it's super easy and it's super fast to do it.
Yeah, for sure.
That's why I told you, like, the creativity now is easier, because whatever you have in mind, now the limit is here.
It's up there. Yeah,
that's
for
it.
sure.
Before, the limit was here, money.
Yeah, that was
because
it.
Of course you have a gear to do some kind of stuff, but man, it was so expensive.
Yeah. So going to when you're playing your first gig, you're sort of doing your first. I mean,
1995.
1995.
First gig. Yeah.
Can you remember how you felt when you were before you were doing it?
Definitely. I was dying of stress and nerves.
Really? Yeah.
It was crazy. It was so young. I mean, I'm from the 1977, so it was 1995. So it was I was young, and it was one of the main clubs in Spain, the Florida 135. They are, of course, you know the Row thing now, the festival, the guys from the Row.
Yeah.
They are the owners also from this club. So they're running this club for years and years. I think it's like 70 years or 70 something years, running this club. And he was there, the first gig.
Right.
So playing there, the first gig was like, yep, you are going to play in one of the best clubs in your country, if not the best. That they have this kind of techno selection. You're gonna play live.
Oh no.
That's it's like, okay, let's try it,
Yeah.
But it was crazy too, because the people was asking me like, what are you doing? Like, why? What are you doing with this all this stuff, synthesizers, and what is this? I'm playing music. I'm playing music live. Like, what do you mean playing music, electronic music on live? Like, I'm making the electronic music live here.
Yeah,
But the music is coming from that kind of plastic vinyls, Yeah, but you have to make the music and then press the vinyl. So people was like, no way. What do you mean? Yeah, you have to make the music and then press the vinyl and then the DJ is playing. So I'm doing the first step live. It was like, wow, that's weird. I was weirdo. Like, that's weird. So it was fine. But I can remember perfectly the place, the setup. My parents there with me. Because my father was traveling with me all the time, everywhere.
Right.
Getting the gear and plugging all the stuff, going to the sound check, and then get everything again into the car and driving back home.
Oh, that's incredible! Incredible support.
I was a kid. I was 17 years old.
Yeah.
I have been playing in places like Florida that I had a special permission.
Yeah.
To play, because I even didn't have the age to get into the club.
Yeah.
So it was amazing.
Wow.
The experience was amazing.
Yeah.
And the people was crazy, because the young people was like, wow, that's your father? Yeah. Wow, that's amazing, man. You're traveling with your father. Your father's here on the party, like techno. Like, wow, the people was blowing. Like, wow, that's amazing. So it was a really good beginning, and it was really a really good experience for me. spend that time with my parents, like traveling and playing music, and see my father, my mother there enjoying and talking with the people, enjoying the music, and getting into the scene with me too. That makes everything easier.
Yeah, I was going to say. I mean, that's really. I think that's a really special, kind of relationship, and
oh yeah, definitely,
kind of support to have. I mean, I remember, like, because like I'm an only child, and I often
me too.
oh
me too.
yeah, I often felt, kind of like in the like sort of in the spotlight, like the sort of the attention, the parental attention was on me. My parents, sounds like my parents had quite a sort of different outlook. They, so my dad grew up with sort of financial instability and, kind of like a difficult sort of household. And, so for him, he wanted me to kind of get, a kind of safe job and things like that. He never understood my music at all. He was sort of very classically trained and just didn't understand it. And I was just always really conscious of, and this kind of went through my life, I think, for a long time, of seeking approval, that, that they thought that and if I didn't feel that would just like cause me this kind of like anxiety and,
Yeah, I was feeling lucky on that way, because I had the support from my parents from the beginning.
That's incredible.
Even
so much.
Of course, I had like normal jobs. I'm a software engineer, so I was working as a software engineer for 2 years.
Yeah,
and also giving classes to people software and all this stuff.
Yeah.
So, but I was trying, to get myself into the scene and work on music and make a living with the music.
Yeah.
So that was a time that my parents told me, like, okay, listen, I mean, you are working 8 hours on that job, and then you are coming home, and then you're getting to the studio making music. You are sleeping really bad, eating really bad, traveling the weekend to play. Man, that's a mess.
It's hard.
And they told me, like, hey, you have to choose.
It's not sustainable to do
one
both.
way or the other.
Yeah.
And I asked them, like, yeah, but what I have to do? They told me, like, man, you are making music since you were a kid.
Yeah.
What do you think? Try it. So you have some kind of small savings. If we need to cut out something from home just to help you, let's do it. Let's do it all together.
See,
I did it, man.
I think that, that's really great, because I think that sort of shows that kind of gets you sort of accustomed to uncertainty. That you give it a chance. It might not work. It might do. But
exactly,
because the world is so uncertain now. I mean, being used to that, living with that is a really good thing to have now, for sure.
Yeah, but I feel this feeling that you told me before, like with my father. It's like when I was playing, I was trying to find my father,
find him,
to see his face. Like smiling, like, okay, I'm doing great.
I'm doing good. Yeah.
And I can remember sometimes when I was at the studio, because I had the studio in my parents' apartment, and he was coming from work, and I was working on something. And then I can remember my father walking, looking at this from the door, what I was doing, listening, and then was like, well, sounds good. And he was leaving, and I was like, oh wow. My father says sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the way.
Results, brilliant.
But I can remember it too, the other way. Like, so exciting, making a new track, whatever. My father looking at this, like this, like, I don't know. And then leaving, and I was like, I don't know. Oh my God. Maybe that's not good enough.
Yeah.
And then going to sleep the day after, going to listen to the track again and say, like, yeah, he's right. I don't know. Like, what? That's crazy. I don't know. He's right. So I had a really huge influence from my father faces. Like,
yeah,
I don't know. Oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
it's really
That was
interesting.
my
Yeah,
that's why my point into to even at the beginning to decide if it's good or not good. Because he was making me think about, okay, he's listening to the music as a public, as a
yeah,
someone just listening to music, not thinking about the sound or the sounds or the engineering or whatever. No, just I like it or not like it. That's it. So it was the first point. Always for me was like, hey, come here, listen to this. How do you feel? Oh, that's good. Okay, I'm on the right way. Let's do it.
It's interesting, isn't it? How those kind of important figures in our in our lives can throw you from just sort of building your self confidence to a great level through to the kind of the self doubt, and it's like, oh my god,
Yeah.
am I doing this right? I'm not doing this right. No, I'm doing something wrong. It's kind of mad.
Yeah.
As when you started out, I'm sort of interested in also like how you what you wanted to get out of it and how you kind of defined your sort of success in what you were doing from those days compared to where you are now, and if you're kind of what you wanted from it, if your definition of success has sort of changed.
Man, for me it was like, I just try to make a living with the music.
Mm.
That was the beginning for me. Like, I'm trying just to make a living. I want to play music. I want to make music. I want to compose music and just have money to pay my bills and
Yeah.
get my food and just survive. Because I love to make music. I love music. I really love getting to the process of creation, inspiration, and all this. More the composition way, because the production way sometimes is like almost the same. You
Yeah.
know what you have to do, whatever, but the composition is like, you don't know what you're gonna feel or what you're gonna find into your own soul or your own mind, or that day you are a completely different mood, whatever. But for me from the beginning was like, I just want to make a living.
Yeah.
I just want to make music and make a living with that, and that's it. So now looking back from last years, for me it's like, not even in my best dreams I had in mind that traveling around the world, playing in big stages, big festivals, not even in my best dreams.
Yeah.
So I'm really happy. I'm really happy that for me it's a real dream.
Because now you're doing you've got you have the Nines project. Let's say project. You've also got your which I think is if I'm correct me if I'm wrong, a kind of like sort of going back to sort of classical roots and sort of molding that with the sort of electronica and sort of taking that into the kind of wider arts and culture. I know you've done some soundtracks, for example, and also the the studio as well, and the kind of the mentoring and the support through sort of Orfeo. Those sort of things. You're diversifying out in sort of what you're doing.
Yeah, always.
This
always.
Is yeah.
Sorry, because I mean, I'm trying to diversify because I need to do it. So I need to find different ways to spend my time.
Yeah.
To don't get crazy just with one thing.
Yeah.
So my brain is waking up 2 hours earlier than me.
Yeah.
And he's going to sleep 2 hours later.
Yeah.
So it's always even it's really difficult for me to. I mean, I'm into the meditation and calm and trying to focus. But when I see when I start the day and I say, okay, it's time to work.
Mm.
Could be like a relaxing day or a completely crazy day in terms of ideas. So I need to diversify my mind in different
Yeah.
projects. Just to, it's just a way for me to change the focus.
Yeah.
It's very important to me to change the focus where when I'm doing something, like working on music, for example, it's working on 45 minutes,
Yeah.
change the focus for 10, 15 minutes,
Yeah.
going, I don't know, walk with the dogs, or reading a couple of pages of a book, or
Yeah.
listening to another kind of different music, or cooking or whatever. Just change the focus and then go back again. So I
Mm.
get into the mood again. Because
Mm.
if you are into something for 8 hours
Yeah.
straight in a row, man,
Mm.
that's not healthy.
Mm.
You are getting into a loop. Your brain is working as a loop, and then you are not listening.
Yeah.
You are just hearing something,
Just hearing. Yeah.
and your brain is completely shut it up. Like, wow, that's too much. I've been listening this loop or this thing like for 7 hours now. Man, that's
Yeah.
enough. No, I need to work. I need to feel myself like in the morning. Like, okay, I have the feeling now. I have the feeling today that today is a good day to go to the studio
Mm.
and see myself in front of the piano and play and compose something. Great, that's amazing. But if I have this feeling in the morning, like, mm, I don't have the mood today to make music, I'm gonna go to another thing on my other business with the movies, or uh, getting some information from a new staff, or trying to understand
Yeah.
how this new synthesizer work, something, but just not focus on music. So that's the way I work, and that's
Mm.
the thing why I'm trying to diversify my time, in
Mm.
different projects. Is not
I-
getting bored and trying to get focused on everything 100%,
Mm.
for sure, a lot of periods of times, but short periods of time during the day.
I was earlier today. I was listening to. I've become a little bit obsessed with Ezra Klein's podcasts. As I
Mhm.
think he has some like fascinating guests on, and his latest, well, I say his latest one. One of his recent ones is with a writer. I think her name is Ruth Ozeki, and she's actually she's writer, but she's also a Zen sort of Buddhist
Mhm.
teacher. She was saying about about the importance of gut instinct, and how actually that the the vast majority of our knowledge,
Mhm.
contrary to how people used to think, actually resides inside you rather than the kind of the educational side, or the kind of stuff that you retain in sort of in your brain, which I thought was I mean I've long believed in the power of gut instinct.
Oh, yeah, of course. Me
and
too.
and and it sounds from from what you're saying, that okay, today is a day I mean sometimes you will have your structure when you need to do things, but it sounds like gut instinct is a something that you use quite a lot.
Yeah. The people is always talking about uh, inspiration. You know,
Mm,
the news. It's like staying at the couch watching TV, and then
mm,
the inspiration is coming, and then you go to the studio and you make a
mm,
hit, and you are rich forever.
mm.
I don't believe that. I
No.
mean, no, I don't believe on that kind of inspiration.
Mm,
Inspiration is coming from your inner light. It's from inside you. You
inside.
need to find something. You need to find the click,
Yeah.
and this click, everything is inside of. It's in yourself. It's not
Mm,
outside. It's not a kind of inspiration. Now, no, I went to get a walk, and then no, 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 no way. Everything is related to your point of view, your
yeah.
emotions, your sensations,
Mm,
and you can feel it with the music. I mean, you can go to go hiking. You can go hiking for 10
yeah.
minutes, then back home, uh, get the headphones, play some music, and go hiking again at the same place, the same road, the same time.
Yeah.
It's gonna be completely different.
Completely different.
It's gonna
Yeah.
seem like a completely different hiking.
Mm,
Why? Because we are like how to say, like into the You know, the astronauts when
Mm.
they go out of space and they're
Mm.
into the all the stuff, and they see the universe, the space or the
The
earth,
whole
whatever,
universe. Yeah. Yeah.
from like this, you know.
Yeah.
For me, it's the same. We are seeing the reality from our perspective.
Mm.
So thinking about the inspiration coming from the outside, yeah, right, it's coming from the outside, but
Mm.
it's connected with your inside,
Mm.
because the inspiration is coming from you,
Yeah.
you know. It's coming from that kind of, that, from that perspective. It's not an objective observation. It's like you
Mm.
are seeing something, hearing something, it goes into your brain,
Mm.
it makes a click in your soul,
In your
and
soul.
that's starting something. It's like a little flame, you know, starting,
Yeah.
and then it's connecting with all your emotions, with the back of your ideas, your memories, your dark memories, the memories that you don't even remember, and that's
Mm.
that little flame. It's creating something, and it's getting into that inspiration. That's what I think it works. I don't believe on that kind of, oh, I get it.
Yeah. Yeah. No. No, I
No,
agree.
no.
With the new record, we talk about
Hmm.
that for a little while. Like I said in the intro, it really felt like this, what's the word? Like a kind of odyssey. You know
Yeah.
that there's a kind of starting point, which and this is sort of, and I'm really interested how this you hear a piece of music and it makes you feel a certain way, and I think you've really managed to sort of achieve that with, like, basically kind of like with each track as it sort of goes through. There's this sort of journey from, this is how I've interpreted it, from kind of like an awakening. That's really the oral sound that I get from the first track, through to, you know, like almost like sort of peace at the, you know, with the very sort of final track. And I don't know if that's just because of me, of where I am in my sort of particular state. Somebody else may interpret it differently. I guess that's the beauty of it, that people will do.
Yeah, of course. That's the beauty of of this kind of work, you know. But yes, the album have a global sense, you know. Even the names of the tracks, the
Yeah.
composition. As I told you, the composition is coming. The starting point from the composition is the pain,
Mm.
and then is all the process inside of you,
Yeah.
your inner light, yourself, your thoughts, your fears, your happiness, your problems,
Mm.
your something back in your mind that is there from years and you don't even know, you know,
Mm.
your shadows, your lights. That's the process, and that's the
Yeah.
process of the album. That's the process I had writing and producing the album.
Mm.
And that's the human part of the album with the music.
Mm.
All the names are coming. They are not random names. There is a
Yeah.
process. I mean, if you read the names of the tracks, there is a psychological process,
Yeah. Very true.
you know.
Yeah.
And then you listen to the tracks. For example, the first track of the album, the opening track, is the second single we was
Mm.
released before, is Adebe. You know,
Mm.
the meaning of Adebe is a visionary.
Mm.
It's someone with a vision.
Yeah.
You know, that's why it's the first track,
Yeah.
because it's coming from someone with a vision.
Mm.
You know, I had the vision to, oh man, I have to do that. I'm gonna do it. And then this first track is full of different styles, sounds, influences. There
Yeah.
is
Absolutely.
there is jazz, there is
Yeah.
pop, there is uh, classical, really, really classical, even influence from Bach.
Yeah.
There is a lot of trap, drum and bass, a lot of stuff.
Yeah. For sure.
Why?
Absolutely.
Because for me, it was the main point.
Mm.
It's the beginning of the process. It's the
Yeah.
vision you have, and you have all these ideas, you bring all these ideas together, trying to fit these ideas, even that they sounds crazy together, but like, okay, I need to fix that to fit everything in it.
Yeah.
So every track has its own story behind.
Yeah.
And this and I tell you, like, I'm like talking with the people who's working with me, my team and everything. I told them like, this is a completely psychological process. It's an
Yeah.
internal process, and there is a lot of artists going through this after this last crazy 2 years
Yeah.
with the
Yeah.
pandemic and all the stuff, the struggling. But I started the process before, because I decided to move out from the DJ scene on September 2019.
Yeah.
I can remember my friends telling me like, man, you're crazy. You are up there. You have been working for years. Now you have the position. Man, you're jumping out. Are you crazy? You're making money. You're traveling. You have you live. You have a really relaxing life because everything is going. And you want to step out? Like, yeah. I want to do it because I was on that point. So 6 months later, COVID thing, and everybody was at home.
Did at that time did you doubt yourself when your friends were sort of saying that to you, saying, why are you doing this? Did you? But you
Of
still had
course,
the self belief to that
every
was the
day.
right thing to do. Yeah.
Yeah, I had to tell myself,
Yeah.
hey, that's the right way.
Yeah.
Your feelings are everything. And I was telling myself like, your feelings are everything. Really, always. I have been following my feelings from the beginning.
Yeah.
In everything. I was like, but of course you have doubts. Like, man, everybody's telling me I'm crazy. Everybody's telling me like, oh, you don't know what you're doing. It was a scary process. Like, oh man,
Yeah.
people surrounding me disappearing completely, nothing, emptiness, quietness.
Yeah.
I my life went to with my phone. It was crazy. WhatsApp, emails. It was
All of
crazy
it.
every
Yeah.
day
Yeah.
to nothing. When I decide to step out, quiet, silence, and it was pain. It was
Was it?
painful.
Was it painful?
As I told you, it's
Yeah.
coming from the pain. It's coming
Yeah.
from the pain that say, you were supposed to be my friends.
Yeah.
You were calling me. You were asking me for advices, helping. I was helping people with a lot of stuff. But silence.
Silence.
After I
Yeah.
say, okay, guys, I'm leaving. I'm gonna do something different. You will know about it at the right
Mm.
time, but
Mm.
I need to step out. And then silence. And then there's
Yeah.
this process of
Yeah.
fear and self-doubt
Yeah.
and fear again and more fear.
Mm.
Is that kind of feeling like going to the mountain and looking down,
Looking
and say
down.
like,
Yeah.
wow, I don't know,
Yeah.
I am on the right way, I did it right, I did it wrong. Yeah, it was like a process of the first 2-3 months. Wow, they were crazy. My mind
And
was like,
I mean, aside from obviously, I'm sure there are some nerves with the album,
of course.
about to come out. I'm sure, but in terms of the bigger picture of where you are now compared to then, how are you feeling?
I feel amazing.
Yeah, it's the right thing.
Because
Brilliant.
exactly, because I don't have any fear, I don't have any doubt. I'm waking up every morning completely sure.
Amazing.
I'm going to sleep completely sure.
Mm.
I don't have the stress or the thousands of questions every day in my head.
Mm.
I don't have to take care of a lot of things that I didn't want to take care.
Yeah.
So now I did my choice, and that was the right choice. Because now I'm 100% doing what I want. at the moment I want. And I don't have to do something that I don't want it because the other people want me to do it. So when I'm going to the studio, when I'm going to write some music, I don't have to think about music for DJs to try to approach the promoter to have gigs, and then my agents can make a profit, whatever. No, I'm going to the studio and I make music because I want to make music.
Yeah.
That's it. Of course, concerts will come, whatever, but it's gonna come naturally.
Yeah.
It's gonna be natural. It's gonna come, and that's it. And if I want to do it, I will do it. If I don't want to do it, I'm gonna stay home. You know, that's the way I'm feeling now. As I tell you, like, I'm 45, almost 45 years old now. Of course, with 20 years old, I was like, man, let's do it. You know, let's get into it. it's but I tell you, like, it's a completely different way. And I tell you, like, when my father passed away, it was a disaster. I mean, it was so hard that even now it's really difficult to talk about it. You know?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Because it's painful. It's like a physical pain inside. You know? So that's what I told you. Like, no, man, I don't want to spend my time thinking about I did it right, I did it wrong, why I didn't try it. No, life is it's a moment. It's just a moment. I mean, you don't know what is going on later in 20 minutes. You don't know what is going on.
I think if anything, you know, sort of positive, that's that legacy of your father is that he's given you that spark to change, you know, and to live the life that you are doing now for yourself.
Exactly. Yeah, my father always told me, like, hey, follow your gut, you know, like follow your dreams and listen to yourself and do whatever you really want to do it. It's not about I'm doing whatever I want. No, it's not that kind of behavior. It's like I'm doing whatever I want. It means like I'm doing what I want to do to be happy and to spread happy with the people around me.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know? If you're not happy, man, everybody around you is gonna be dramatic. You know, it's gonna be a drama. No, I don't want to give the people that feeling from me.
No more dramas. We're kind of full of dramas.
We are full of dramas.
Yeah,
we are full
absolutely.
of dramas, man. We need to change something. We need to show the people that we can embrace the people with the music. We need to show the people that, man, you can do a lot of stuff to find your way and your happiness and express yourself in a different ways.
Yeah.
And we have the opportunity to show the people to do something different.
Yeah.
To work on culture, to express yourself in a different way. And we have the option. Of course, you can choose it to do this or to do this just because money and trends and whatever.
Yeah.
But of course, there is a part of the business that is just focused on numbers, you know. But there is another part of the business that even is there are numbers behind. There is completely another different path, another way, you know.
Absolutely.
And I think we have to do that. I mean, I have been receiving a lot of great stuff in my life from the music. I want to give the music back these feelings.
Yeah.
That's it.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Man, thank you.
It's been fascinating.
Thanks for listening to the show, and I really hope that you enjoyed it and that you'll tune in for the next episode. In the meantime, it would be really awesome if you could rate and review the show and also share it with any friends who you think might enjoy it.